All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the SoCal AI Talks podcast. I am your host, Edgar. And along with my partner, Luis, we talk to business owners and entrepreneurs about their fields of expertise. And along the way, we'll talk a little bit about AI and how that's impacting their industry. Today, we have Kary Sinkule, who is the co-founder and CEO of Yoga's Arc. Kary, thank you so much for taking the time. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, Kary, we're so inspired reading about Yoga's Arc. You're not just running a yoga studio or yoga business, but sounds like you're leading a movement that's bringing holistic wellness to anyone, anywhere. How's that going? You want to tell us a little bit about that?
It's going better than I expected. I've been teaching yoga for 30 years, and I started out as an inner city junior high gang teacher. And in my early 20s, when both worlds collided, I took the tools from practicing and teaching yoga and brought it into the classroom. And I saw these kids completely change in just 10 minutes of breathing. So years later, it's 2010, I retire from being a school counselor, 20 years in the education system to take care of my grandmother with dementia. And when she passed away, I got to the point where I was teaching 30 yoga classes a week in all these elite studios where it was like, oh, Mary took my spot, or who's that new girl that took my locker? And I just got so tired of it. I sat down with my mentors after receiving my 500-hour certificate probably around my 20th year of teaching. And I said, I just don't see myself opening a studio, but I see myself doing something bigger. And they gave me the idea of going mobile. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but here we are, 80 teachers. We are in 50 partnerships from Tucson to Flagstaff, and 80% of our for profit is addiction behavioral recovery. And our nonprofit now, we provide yoga for prisons, homeless shelters, sex assault survivors, and so much more. So much more.
That's really cool. We've talked to a couple of yogis, but in a short way, but none that had this kind of impact. I would say we've talked to some yogis that are like teaching kids, which was very different, and that was really cool. But not in this sense. And as a matter of fact, we talked to someone that was thinking of like pivoting into the sports world to bring that calm that you mentioned, of how somebody can just calm by breathing exercises to athletes. So that's very interesting.
Yes. We provide for anything mobile. So we bring it to corporate, athletes, senior centers. So we do all of the above. Bring it. We have like 4 or 5 public schools and charter school partnerships. Our gift is sustainability. We have 80 teachers in operations system, and we employ all our teachers so we can go anywhere because they have their W-9s and stuff. So we created something that can bring yoga to anywhere versus having to just pigeonhole it.
Now, I was reading and you kind of took the question out of my mouth here. I was going to ask the age range of your students. You just answered that, but I did see something that you actually also teach yoga for people with limited mobility. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, most people in the world today have limited mobility. People are sitting in their chairs 50, 60 hours a day. People are slouching over their technology. They're getting text neck. They're getting carpal tunnel from texting. And we're not stretching our necks. We're not stretching our wrists. We're not stretching our ankles. And so we're just bringing the simplicity of mobility to the people that don't understand the importance of mobility. And it's really that simple. The more we go technology, the less movement we all make. So our job is to teach, no matter where we are, how can we help your group move? If we're in addiction recovery, they've lost all sense to their body. So we're like helping them like feel themselves again. Like, this is your forearm, this is your bicep, very simple things to reconnect. So it depends upon the people, right? If we're in sex assault recovery, it's a whole different ball game where we're really helping them regulate their nervous system, and they
Yeah.
like to just dance and have fun. So what we do is we get to know the community and provide exactly what they need. Everywhere you go, there's people that can move a lot and there's people that can't move at all. So our schools help people understand how to get anybody into any pose, no matter what they can or cannot do.
So you have this catalog of services, right? One of those is Yin Yoga. What exactly is Yin Yoga? Can you tell us about that?
Yes, yin yoga is actually my favorite. It's for the connective tissue. So you think about our fascia, right? An athlete never has to sit out because of a pulled muscle. It's always cartilage, a joint. So when you put pressure on the joint in a yin pose, which is minimum of 2 to 3 minutes with support and you're relaxing in it, you are releasing the connective tissue. It is fascinating. It
Oh,
really is.
interesting. Okay. I've never heard of that. So I was really curious to find out about that. So it sounds like prenatal. Prenatal is also something that you offer, right?
Yes.
What percentage of your clients would you say are prenatal clients that are using that?
Such a slow percentage. I'm glad you asked. And that's one of the things that we want to provide mobile yoga for, because maybe a husband or a family member can provide a gift certificate where we can bring it into the home or do a baby shower. Because if you think about bringing prenatal to a studio or to a location, the percentage of people that are pregnant at the time are so small, it's hard to put a class in a general population. So we try to specialize it. We reach out to a lot of hospitals that do a lot of proactive and, prenatal kinds of offerings. And we have a retired nurse, prenatal nurse of 30 years that runs our prenatal yoga program.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit about your team. You've mentioned a couple of times that you have a pretty big team. I noticed like on your website, you're very active on all socials. You have Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Um, do you have a social media team that runs that all those for you, or do you do that yourself?
I absolutely do. I started in 2017 and I'm a school teacher. So I'm really good at teaching, mentoring through it, and then letting them go. And a lot of people in management don't know that skill. So I'm learning as a school teacher, it's a gift. So I hire interns, give them free yoga teacher training in exchange. If they work out, we hire them after. If they don't, it's okay. And now we have two that run our marketing, one that runs sales, one that runs our grant foundation, and one that runs operations, and one who's my husband, who is the CFO HR.
Wow, awesome.
Yes.
You got your team down pat. So tell us
Yeah, you're
a
on a
little bit
tight
about
ship. I like it.
yeah.
I do. I do.
Yes, it does. Huh? Tell us about a little bit about your marketing. How do you get new customers? About that.
It's funny, when I started out, I thought, oh, I'm just going to put myself on social media. I'm going to spend $30,000 to get branded, which I did because I wanted to hide behind the camera. Well, I learned real quick in yoga, you need the trust. So, what we do with our marketing dollars now is spend zero on social media, but we provide programs in local farmers markets, in wineries and breweries, where we're with the public showing up as a company and they're seeing us. And that's where we get most of our customers, because you can't trust a yoga teacher on social media anymore. There's so many certifications that are doing a disservice. And I'm trying to change that reputation.
So it's mainly grassroots then. Still going out to events
Absolutely.
and community and stuff like that. Awesome.
We go to a lot of networking events. We're involved in our local Chandler Chamber. It's not, you can't just hide behind social media. It doesn't work anymore, especially with AI. It's better than SEO. So people got to shift.
So tell us about AI. You mentioned that you are using it. Tell us how you're using AI in your business at this point.
At this point, it's like, how are we not? But the one thing that we're fortunate on is you can't replace a yoga teacher with AI at this point. But we use it for absolutely everything else. We use it for our SOPs. We use it for sales. We use it for writing contracts, for insight on what goals or rocks should we focus on. Or, it's like, it also helps me have an objective mindset with small decisions versus going to a legal team. And it just works.
Yeah, you got a little mini lawyer, um,
Yeah,
within that.
absolutely. They have to do my sales, my mentoring, my curriculum, whatever I need. They're there.
Yeah, I've considered fighting a few parking tickets using AI myself.
Why not?
Yeah. So what kind of challenges do you have within your business where AI is a tool that you have found useful that has helped you with some of those challenges? Is it anything with um, some automation services or maybe even email management, calendar tracking?
I would say content. So not overthinking content, right? It's like we know too much as yoga teachers. So it's like we take the yoga content. All right, can you market this to people that don't know how to do yoga and never heard of this? Right. It's just rewriting it or writing my sales emails because I overthink everything. Right. So I literally just put the information in and it just spits it out. And then I edit and go back and forth. And I'm like, I'm way nicer than this. Like I literally use it like a conversation and it works. You just have to be direct.
Yeah, give it directions how you want
Yes,
it to.
absolutely.
So tell us more about like some bottlenecks or blockers that you may have right now.
Our biggest challenge is individual teachers for half the price. Mary, Mary does yoga and it's just Mary and she charges the senior center half the price. Of course, they're going to pick Mary. But
Mhm.
Mary gets sick, Mary gets flat tires, Mary's moved, Mary's changed locations. Yoga teachers have a lot of turnover. And so it's helping companies see the value of having 80 teachers in a program so there's never inconsistency and helping programs see that if you start with once a month, it will not work. They try to like dabble in it, but then it becomes a hobby, not a habit. And you really need to have it once a week at the same time, same location for 90 days for people to feel comfortable going to a class, trusting the teacher, inviting their neighbor or their coworker. So people want it instant, but it takes 90 days and consistent, and those are our biggest challenges.
The virtual aspect of it is that you offer, is it just for training, or do you also offer virtual yoga classes?
We offer virtual nationally, corporate. Yes, we do a really good job at it because we have 80 teachers. Some are good at prenatal, some are good at virtual, some are good at addiction recovery. So it's great that we have a lot of gifts on our team and we're able to spread the love
Yeah,
through yoga.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
great.
So we talk to a lot of people that are in the health and wellness industry, right? And one of our main goals when we kicked off this podcast is to try to understand where AI is playing a part in the health and wellness industry, right? You're one of the few that has said like right away, yes. How are we not using AI, right? There are several that are still not quite there yet. They don't know how to use it. Why don't you tell us about how you decided to start using AI, what prompted you to start using it, like, and what difference do you see now, uh, how you've implemented it as opposed to before when you didn't have it?
So I don't know how else to say this, but there's a lot of ego in the fitness industry. I've been in it for 35 years, and a lot of people that manage fitness industries know a lot about health and wellness, but they know nothing about business ownership, management, sales, but they think they know everything. So they buy a company or they buy a gym or they buy a wellness thing and they don't know to pivot and say, I have to stop learning health and wellness. I've got to learn how to be a leader. And that it takes humbleness every morning. You have to wake up humble as a servant to whatever you turn to. I turn to God. Jesus is my like savior and helps me every day, not like make my employees want to quit. Do you know what I'm saying? So I start there. And then I read a lot of books. Seth Godin, Michael Hyatt, John Maxwell. Like I'm in leaders' books every single day because I don't know it all. And if you keep that hat on, you always have to learn. You always have to grow and you always have to change. And I remember 2 years ago, I said to one of my mentors, I was like, what do you think about AI? Do I need to dive in? Absolutely, she said. I'm like, all right, here I go. And I jumped in every free webinar that was offered to me through Women's Business Certification, through Hello Alice, through all of the platforms because I'm a learner. I'm a student. You can't be a business owner if you are not a student first. And I put my student hat on and would bring my leadership team all the stuff I was learning, and we all implement it. And I
That's great.
also am a perfectionist. You can't be a perfectionist. You've got to allow mistakes to happen. You've got to encourage mistakes within yourself, within your team. If you're not making mistakes, then you're not trying things. So you just got to get that perfectionist hat off.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important to be open, right? To be open to new ideas and to new ways of doing things. And I think that's where a lot of people have struggled in this industry, trying to adapt to new technology. So I think it's commendable that you've been open to doing that, and I'm sure that's added to your success.
Yes,
To your
I've had to
student.
let go of teaching and coaching and let my lead teachers do that. So a lot of fitness people that want to rise, they've got to hire some people, let go of some things, and and step out of their business.
Yeah, I forget which leader you mentioned. You've been reading a few books on leadership. I forget which leader. I want to say it was Steve Jobs who said, you don't hire people and tell them what to do. You hire them because they're great and they're going to do great at what they do. Uh, Paraphrasing there, of course, but that's the message that I got earlier from you when you said, I hire great people, tell them what to do, and then they run with it. Uh,
I had a woman that I just hired for my foundation, and she's so shy, and we got declined on 2 grants for a nonprofit, and she was ghosting me, and I was like, "Oh, no." I'm like, "Where are you? Are you okay?" And we had an hour talk this morning, and she was like, "I thought that you were gonna be so mad at me." I'm like, "Oh, no." I'm like, 2 no's mean we're that much closer to a yes. You have to encourage your team. You have to help them and lift them up and show them their potential.
that's a great point.
So, along the same, keeping the same topic about AI, a little bit of what Luis and I do. We not only run this podcast, but we also have a small startup, SoCal AI Solutions, where we help small to medium business owners, implement some AI tools into their businesses. And the first demographic we started targeting was gyms, and
Health and wellness
people in
space.
the wellness industry. Yeah, part of it is because I'm a former gym owner myself, and I knew what kind of challenges there were within that industry, right? And a lot of them having to do with lead generation and marketing and just CRM, right? Customer relationship management. So with that said, what we like to do is understand people's business and see if there's any opportunities for us to partner with them where we can help you implement some of those tools. So that's kind of part of what this conversation is, right? To understand what your business is and to see where it is that you're struggling with. So with that said,
Tell you
what
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, I can answer that because it's our biggest pain point right now. Do you know of Mind Body?
yeah, I know mind body.
None of them work for us because we're mobile. We are in 50 partnerships with 80 employed teachers, and no one can automate our calendar to auto emails to our, you know what I mean? Because the calendar is like 50 locations. And then it's like a studio around all of Arizona, and no one can automate us.
What do you use for your calendar? Is it MindBody? Is that your CRM?
Oh, we hired one of my trainees that manually sends out the emails every morning from our Google Calendar. And we use Asana for our operations for every partnership and for our CRM, which works really, really well. And we still use a free version, but we need automation with the calendar to the email so bad because it's like you get a sub, and if one of us forgets to change the calendar, then the payroll's off. It's just a down roll, right? But no one can handle the fifty different partnerships. My husband interviews with people and they only want to do sell, 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 but we don't need it for sales. We don't need it for marketing. Right now, we just put like 50 classes a week on the calendar with addiction recovery. We don't need sales and marketing right now. We
Have
need
enough leads.
operations.
Well, that sounds. Yeah, I mean that's aside from the fact that you said there was. I don't know if you really mean 50 calendars, so you have because it's 50 clients and each one of them have their calendar. Now, are they each operating like one of them uses Gmail, one of them uses Outlook, another one uses? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, we manually send them to each teacher's individual email because we don't we can't provide 80 emails. Some of our teachers work 10 hours a week, some work 2 hours a month. Some work once a year. They're sporadic, depends because some of them are seasonal. So everything costs too much to be able to automate with that many people because they're not full time.
Yeah.
It's not one location.
Since you're knowledgeable about AI, I'm sure you've heard of AI agents, right? And these are AI, like agents you can set up with different LLMs, whatever your LLM of choice may be, and then you can give it um, instructions. So, right when this email comes in, or whatever the trigger you mentioned, like substitutions, right? So when you have to sub someone out, I'm not sure how that's triggered. I don't know if you guys use like Slack or maybe Google Me, or it's just a text message. You guys are using WhatsApp. There's a lot of things
We
that get
use
triggered.
Viber.
What is it?
Have you heard of Viber? It's like a WhatsApp.
Viber. Okay. Those types of communication programs or applications usually do have a webhook or a trigger that can kick off an automation, right? So if someone says, I'll be subbing out, and that's what we programmed the agent to recognize as a trigger, then that will kick off whatever it is that you want to do. Okay, send out an email, restructure the calendar, update the CRM. That can be done with AI agents. And if it's very complex to where you have 50 calendars, and you just set up 50 tools and you tell the agent for this customer use this tool. So I think what you're asking to do is very doable.
Okay. Because my husband is, I mean, he codes for Intel. He's been working as an electrical engineer for Intel for 30 years. So he built all our websites. He knows how to do all that. He uses AI to code.
Yeah. I talked to him about agents if he's looked into it. That's what a lot of businesses are using right now to automate workflows. We were just messing around with like an AI assistant for receptionists where it literally takes the call, talks to you like a person, and then books that call, or just gives you information on whatever business you're running. But it definitely can via voice or via text or other triggers can start that automation where it updates calendars, updates your CRM, and then
Okay.
even sends a confirmation at the end. Like all these three things are done.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
yeah. Well, we are coming up on time.
Okay.
And we want to be mindful of that. So, Kary, what we do is we'll take this call and the transcript of it actually, and run it through an AI tool, and it'll identify anything that you mentioned that may have an opportunity to partner with you. Obviously, we talked a lot about agents, so it's probably going to mention that. We'll send that to you absolutely for your cost for joining our podcast today.
Okay.
If you're not,
I'll forward it to my operations team.
yeah, and if you're not opposed to it, we'll love to follow up with you and discuss the agents more.
Okay. Perfect.
Awesome. Well, before we wrap up, we do want to give you an opportunity to, plug your business and let our viewers and your listeners know how they can find you. I know you said you're very busy already, but if somebody wants some help with yoga, what's the best way to contact you?
So Yogazark, YOGASARC on all social media platforms. My name is Kary, Kary at yogazark.com. And you can reach me at 480-3788. We provide mobile yoga virtually. We can certify any teacher internationally. And in Arizona, we can absolutely provide in-person yoga.
And you're all over Arizona too.
Anybody's looking to donate, we do have a nonprofit and we provide yoga for so many vulnerable populations and we could use some donations. We're trying to double our Perryville Women's Prison program.
And how would somebody go about donating? Just go to your foundation?
Our Yoga's Arc Foundation website and you can click on donate and then it'll let you choose which program you want to donate.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you, Kary, so much for your time. It was a pleasure meeting you, and we will be in touch.
Okay, great. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.